So if you want to learn the NgRx state management, this is the video you want to watch. I'll also use an example of a banking system scenario just to help you understand the concept a little better. Okay, so let's go to the actual diagram just to help you understand what happens here. I won't give you like some textbook explanation because sometimes that gets a bit tricky. Okay, so this is the portion that we're actually going to focus on in this video, but I'll just try to explain everything. So you've got your actions over here. So these are like your actual events that you're actually going to be triggering. So in terms of like a banking system, think of it as doing a deposit or a withdrawal. So you hit that action, which is deposit or withdrawal. Then you've got like reducers. Reducers actually listen to a specific action that you do in your system, and then if you're hitting like a withdrawal action from your bank account, that will deduct some amount that you want to withdraw. Say now you've got $10 in your account, you want to withdraw $5, it will trigger that logic and then update your actual store. So the store, think of it like an internal app database, right? So that specifically is your store, which has like our account balance. And then if we want to get our actual account balance from our store, we use a selector, which is sort of like select query in SQL. So we actually select something from the store, and whatever we're selecting is what we actually want to show here in our actual component. So we also have like side effects. So effects are actual side effects that call like an API call, right? So you trigger like an action that will call that effect, that will just go to our services and make that API call give us an actual response, and then a reducer over here is going to be triggered and update that store. So basically this is how our NgRx state management lifecycle works. Okay, so how do we now implement this in Angular? Right, so in Angular we first need to run this command, which is this ng add ngrx store. So that will actually initialize everything. Okay, so what we then have to do is in our app, I like to have a folder which is, let's say, stores, right? And what we need here is our actions. We're gonna have actions, another folder which is gonna be for our reducers. Then we are gonna have another folder over here which is gonna be our actual state. Okay, no, let me just do this. Sorry, my bad. Let's do this and call the state basically. Okay, let me just remove this and call this my actual state. Okay, so this is gonna be for actual account dot state ts. So in here I'm just gonna have my actual account dot reducer dot ts, and then the same with my actual actions. Okay, so this is gonna be for my actual account dot actions dot ts file. Okay, basically that's what we have. Okay, so the first thing that we'll actually now do is actually implement our actions. Okay, so how do we do that? So in here we're gonna have an action over here which is gonna be for, let me just call this deposit action, because now we're using this actual bank scenario. So we're gonna have this deposit action, and then we have to create, so we have to create an action. Okay, so now within this action I'm just gonna say account like component, right? And then what we need to do is when we trigger this action, this is just going to be for our actual deposit. Okay, now I just can copy this, paste, then this one is gonna be for our withdrawal, and then we're just gonna have max out. So this is just max out, max out. Okay, and then this is just gonna be for our withdrawal. Right, so this is gonna be for our actual withdrawal. So these are the actual actions that we're gonna have within our application. Okay, and then now we head to our actual state. So in here I'm just gonna have like our account balance state, right? So this is just gonna be then a number, which we're gonna start off as, it's gonna be a constant. So this is gonna be a number, and then we're gonna initialize it as 0 when it starts off. Okay, so now we've got our state, and we can now then go ahead and actually create our reducers, because we said we trigger an action, and then we've got listeners over here, which is our actual reducers, which then have some logic that it applies to actually update the actual store. Okay, so how do we then do this is we'll say export constant, right? Account reducers. Then in here we're gonna have create reducer. Okay, and then in here what we need is our actual initial state. So our initialized state is gonna be our account balance state. Okay, that's what we need. And then what we then gonna have is actual listeners. So on listen, so you just need to make sure that this is calling this NgRx store. Then in this we need to then pass in what action are we actually listening from. So how we go about doing that is we need to first import everything as account actions, right, which is coming from this file. So we're just gonna cd out twice in our actions. We want all our account actions. Okay, so now we can actually now access those specific actions. So we're gonna say these account actions dot, if I hit this deposit or if I dispatch this actual action, I want this functionality, right? So I'm gonna say my actual state, I'm gonna say this state plus 1. Okay, then I'm gonna then copy paste. Then for withdrawal, I want to say deduct 1 from my current state, and then for my actual max out account, say if I withdraw everything from my account, then obviously my balance is going to be then 0. Okay, so these are our actual reducers. So if this action is triggered, this is what's going to happen. If this action is triggered, that's going to happen, and so forth, so forth. Okay, awesome. So those are the actual reducers that we have. So we've got our actual actions and reducers. Okay, so now let's go ahead and so it's either we can do this ng generate component, and then we're just gonna say this is our actual account. So we're gonna say pages, and then we're gonna say account. So that goes to our actual pages account, and then I'm gonna serve this again. Awesome. So that's all good. Let's go to our actual account and make sure in our actual routes we want to go to account. Right, I'm just gonna add a route here which then goes to my actual account, then account component. So now that our actual app is loaded, so we'll just say localhost. that goes to our actual account. And then in my account, so I'm just gonna say account component this. Then I'm just gonna paste in this HTML because yeah, I'm gonna paste in this HTML. I know this is gonna have like specific errors. Let me just remove this, and remove that. Okay, so just for now, let's just remove this, guys. Just make sure this works. Okay, awesome. Now let's actually have this like this. Okay, so what's gonna happen in here, we're gonna say this is withdrawal, withdraw 1 rand. We're just gonna say withdraw 1 rand, deposit 1 rand, and then max out your account. So max out account. Okay, awesome. So these are our actual functions that we're gonna have. Okay, now okay, so these are the functions that we're gonna have, but obviously at the moment, if we actually trigger these methods, nothing is basically gonna happen. Okay, so now what do we then need to do is we'll have like our actual constructor, but I want to open up my actual console over here, and then in my constructor, what I'm then going to do is, because I want to access or select my actual account balance from my store. So how I go about doing that is I need to say this is coming from my actual store, right? And this is using the store. Okay, and then over here this then has to have this guy. Then I'm gonna say this is my actual account, which is then a number just coming from my store. Okay, now I need to just make sure that I've got that in there. Let's see where I actually went wrong. I think this is where I went wrong. Okay, awesome. Yeah, so that now I have this going on, right? So I've actually like injected my actual store, but now I'm having like this actual no provider for the store, and this is because I haven't added this in my actual config, right? So how I go about doing that is I can just say here provide store, and then in this provide store I can then pass in this, because I need to have my actual reducers that I'm actually going to be listening to, right? So if I just then do this over here, right, you'll see that I don't like have like an error, but say now I want to say this implements on init, and then on init I want to just say ng on init. So from my actual store, I want to actually select, right? Because I want to select my actual account, right? So if I want to select my actual account, and then I want to subscribe to this guy, get the results. So this is for my account balance, right? So if I just go ahead and just try to console.log my account, okay, well, results, sorry, my bad. So if I want to console log my results, you'll see that this is actually undefined, right? Because I'm trying to select, right, from like a specific like juices that I haven't actually registered in my application. So what I need to do is now go here to my actual apps config, and then I just need to specify that these accounts come from these accounts. So it's account reducers, right? Because on these reducers I've got an initial state. So now if I go ahead and actually save this, now you'll see that I'm actually getting back this, because when it actually initializes, it initializes as 0. Okay, awesome. So what then I can do is, let's go here. So in here I can have my account balance, which is now equal to 0, or I can just not initialize it, and then I can just say this dot account balance equal to that. Okay, and then here instead I can now use my actual account balance. So I don't need to actually now show this. I can just remove this guy. Okay, but now obviously if I hit this deposit, nothing will actually happen if I hit those functions, right? So now I'll need to have like some sort of click events. Then I'm just gonna say handle withdrawal, handle withdrawal action. So this is gonna be handle my actual withdrawal. So this is gonna handle deposit, and this is gonna be handle, so it's a handle max out. So this is gonna be my handle max out account. Okay, awesome. Now I need to have these functions over here. So now let me just get the functions. I want to define all of these functions, and okay, awesome. So I've actually now defined all of those functions. What now I can actually now do is, let's go in here and update my actual store. So I want to dispatch like an action, because I'm triggering an action here, which is the deposit action, right? So for deposit, I'll say store.dispatch. Okay, in this dispatch, I want to dispatch deposit, this deposit action. Okay, so what this will do is the moment I trigger this, okay, wait, I need to save this guy over here. The moment I trigger this action, this will actually increment it. But now, obviously, here I haven't. So let me just say withdraw. Correct that. The moment I trigger this guy, you see that something's happening. Obviously, here I haven't actually implemented anything. So in this, I'll actually now call this withdrawal action, and then I'll have this max out. Okay, awesome. So now if I actually hit this, you'll see that something's happening here, and then if I actually now call this guy, and something will then happen there, right? Okay, and then you can actually have, if I go in here in my actual reducers, I can just add in some logic here that says if the state is greater than 0, right, then do that, else then just have 0. Okay, so now if I actually increment, then if I do that, then I can't actually withdraw if I don't have anything. So now if I do that and actually max out my account, you'll see I've deposited. If I max it out, it goes to 0. Deposit, I can actually now withdraw. So that's how you actually like implement your actual state stuff. But there's actually something with like the store, right? So think about it this way. So you have your bank account, right? So if you go to like the page for actually transferring someone like money, right, you'll actually do the transfer. But once you update that in your actual home page of your app, you'd want to see the updated like amount. So because you're using the state management, what you change from the state will be shared amongst everywhere where you're actually using a specific selector. Like for instance, now we're selecting this account, right? So let me try to show you this, right? So let me have another, let's see, I'll just create another component over here. So this will be called ngGenerate component, and then this is gonna be from my pages, right, / homepage, right? In my pages, I'm gonna just have a / homepage, and then what I'll then do is ngserve, just gonna ngserve, and then here in my actual, just underneath this, what I'll do is I'll have like this app home. Just want to show you something. So I'm gonna have this app home, and then this is gonna show here underneath there. But what I need to do is I'm just gonna copy this and then go to my actual home component and display this here. Obviously this is just gonna be 0. Okay, well, I can just do this guy and then actually copy this, paste it in here. Alright, okay, I need to import those. So this is gonna implement on init, and I want to save this. So what I want to do is current. So now I'm just gonna call this as your current bank. So this is gonna be your current balance. Alright, and then I'm just gonna pipe this guy. The pipe, and then it's just gonna say, is it pipe? I think so. So you say, then you say currency, right? Is that how you did? I even forgot. So let's see. Oh no, I think it's current. Okay, let's see this. Okay, that's how you do it. My bad. Actually forgot. Okay, in here I'm just gonna have this guy. Then I'm just gonna do this currency. Then I'm just gonna have a common module, right? Currency, and then this is just gonna say R. Then in here, this is gonna say this is my actual current balance. So I'm just gonna have this as 2. So this is gonna be for my current balance, but check what's gonna happen. So the moment I actually deposit something in here, you see that this is also changing here. But these are happening from actual 2 different components, because in here I'm just actually rendering what's in my home page. So if I deposit anything from here, it's actually changing my current balance. And if I withdraw anything from here, that's actually also going to affect my actual current balance. So now you can see like that your state is actually shared amongst your whole application. So basically this is just it for this video. If you like this content, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, share, and yeah. Now peace.